Alright guys, chapter 8. So in the beginning, they actually talk about ratios, and we didn't do a lot of that in class. So for ratios, what they're doing is they're going to ask us, write the ratio for angle K and J. Okay, so we have our triangle. We have triangle JLK, and they already gave us, these are our numbers. Okay, so to figure out this, we have to use SOHCAHTOA, and basically we're using SOHCAHTOA for everything. So sine of opposite hypotenuse, cosine of adjacent hypotenuse, and tangent of opposite adjacent. So we're going to solve for K first. For K, you have to look at your numbers, and you have to look where K is. Okay, so there's no number right here, so it's obviously not going to have anything to do with hypotenuses. So anything that has an H, gone. So sine, gone. Cosine, gone. So that's going to leave us with tangent. Now, not every time it's going to be tangent. So from opposite, 3 over 7. Opposite, TO over adjacent. So it's going to be the first letter over the second one. So then that is how we solve for angle K. It's tangent. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. Look at your triangle. Look at your numbers. Alright, now let's solve for angle J. Angle J is also tangent, except it's not going to be the same one as 3 over 7 as it was for angle K, because angle J is actually in a different spot. So, look at angle J. What's opposite from it? 7. And what's adjacent? 3. Opposite, adjacent. Opposite, adjacent. Alright? So it's going to be 7 over 3, 3 over 7. That's how you find the ratio. Alright? Now let's do some more ratios. We have triangle ABC. And let's figure this out. So we're going to use our SOHCAHTOA, and we're going to look at our triangle. So let's solve for angle A first. Angle A. Basically for angle A, we're going to use sin. We can choose actually what we want to use sometimes if they give us a lot of numbers, but usually they're not going to. They're only going to give us 2. So for angle A, I use sin. I just used the regular basic one. I did opposite over hypotenuse, and that's 4 over 6. So if you just scratch out the third one, it's going to be 4 over 6. Okay, so let's just pretend that number 3 isn't here. Now let's go to angle C, which I also use sin for. Okay, so sin. Opposite over hypotenuse. That is 3 over 6. You can start with whichever order you want. Basically, what you're doing when they give you 3 numbers for a triangle, and they give you solve for angle, let's say they ask you solve for angle A, and use the ratio. You're figuring what ratio it is for each sine, cosine, and tangent. You can just choose which one you want to start off with, but usually I use it in the SOHCAHTOA order. I would go for sine, it's opposite over hypotenuse, 4 over 6. Then I would go to cosine, which is adjacent. So then I would do 3 over 6. Then I would go to tangent, which is opposite, 4 over 3. Opposite over adjacent, not hypotenuse. You just plug it in for each one, and that's how you do ratios. Ratios is really simple. And then we go to a new section, and that's solving without a degree. So, solving without a degree. Here's our triangle. It's going to look like this. They're going to have an x right here, and they're going to give us two numbers. Now remember, wherever your 90 degree is, whatever opposite of it is the hypotenuse. Okay? So first you're going to start off, you're going to say, alright, where are numbers? Here's our x. Which method am I going to use? Sine, cosine, tangent. So, opposite over hypotenuse. That's going to be sine. Okay? So, I find my sine. So the second step I'm going to do is I'm going to put the sine into the formula. Alright? So I do sine of x equals 5 over 14. Because it's opposite over hypotenuse. 5 over 14, opposite over hypotenuse. Right there. You put it into your formula. Then you're going to, the third step is, every time they don't give us the degree, we're going to divide our fraction. So every time they don't give us the degree that we're looking for, which is x, we always divide 5 divided by 14. So you're going to do that on your calculator, and you're going to get a number, and after you divide, you have to find the degree. Alright? So after I divided, I got 0.357. Okay? That is not a degree. Alright? That is not the answer. After you divide 5 divided by 14, that's not the answer. You're not done. They're asking you for the degree. Anytime they're giving us x in the middle, like this, they're always asking for a degree. And 0.357 is not a degree. So what we're going to do in our calculator is we're going to punch that in, and then we're going to do second sin. Second sin. So you punch your number in, second sin. That should give us our degree. We're going to round to the nearest whole number for degrees, usually, if they ask. If not, then you're going to round to the nearest tenth. So every time they don't give you a degree, which means you're trying to figure it out for x. Okay? So when I do 0.357, I use the second, then I type in sin, and it's going to equal 21 degrees. Okay? It's just step by step. It's very, very simple.